What's up, everybody? It's AJ with eachother.com. Today we're going to be checking out this Pace Edwards Switchblade Retractable hard tonneau cover on this 2014 GMC Sierra 1500. Hard tonneau cover is going to be a good idea to get for your truck. Not only does it make it look nicer with it covering up that bed, it also covers up the cargo you have inside the bed and keeps it safe with a locking tailgate too. There's lots of different types of tonneau covers out there. You have the soft roll up where you just roll to the front. Those are nice and easy. They have the hook and loop on the sides that you have to push down as you walk back and forth. You also have the tri-fold design that folds over 3 times, 3 panels, and then will rest against the back window. That takes up some of that back window. This is going to be the retractable canister style, so it just stays low profile as it goes into the canister underneath, so you don't have to fold anything. You don't have to make sure any hook and loop is attached on the sides. Really easy to use, and it's a hard tonneau cover, so you don't have to worry about damaging it. Now, let's see how it works. We'll drop the tailgate. We have the latch that releases right here. This is going to be the strap that's attached to it, so you're going to hold on to this as it goes back in to either pull it or pull it back out towards the tailgate. So, release it by hitting those latches. You see it's spring loaded, so it's going to come back on its own. You might have to walk it back a little bit more. So it fully goes in right there. With the tonneau cover fully open, now you can see the canister. I like how the canister doesn't take up the whole front side of the bed here. We can still slide longer items down underneath it with plenty of space to spare. I just watch out for the drain tubes when you're doing that. I put them towards the side as far as I could, so you can still load things in the middle. Something I really want to point out about the Switchblade here is how easy it is to bring it back out to the tailgate. I've installed a lot of tonneau covers and they're not always that easy. Sometimes they get caught somewhere in the middle. You have to make a lot of adjustments when you're going to install it. This one installed really easily, and you can see how smooth it actually is. Just going back into that canister, keeping the top protected, so it's not going to be just rolled up here towards the front, still exposed to the elements. Now it's protected in this canister. That's going to keep it looking nicer, longer, as well as it just being smooth in and out. The rails sit only 1/8 of an inch above the bed rails here on the side. You have 2 clamps on each side, which tightens them and keeps it in place. I can check the whole truck back and forth, and you see that the rails aren't moving there. The hand knobs are really easy to use here on these clamps to tighten it down. I even like they have the kickstand on the side, so adjusting the rails up, when I first installed them, they were down a little bit. It's really easy to do that, so over time, if they seem like the rails are a little off, making it not as smooth to bring out, you can always adjust it easily just by reaching in and doing that here. Bringing it back to the tailgate, I want to point out the material on top. You have a softer style. Underneath, there's going to be aluminum, so it is going to hold up to the elements. If it is exposed to it, it shouldn't deteriorate at all. We're going to pick up the canister and set it in place on the rails, but it's not that heavy. You want it to rest here on the side. Set it down into place and push it towards the front of the cab. I'm going to get the strap fed back through to the bed and then push it right up against there. Got some cleaner here on the tile. Before I set the rails in place, I'm going to go ahead and clean off our bed rails on the top. They will be covered by the rails of the tonneau cover anyway, but just want to make it nice for the install. Now we got our rail set up. We want to make sure you look at the sticker on the end, let you know if it's the left or the right side. After I've cleaned off our bed rails, I can peel off the backing off our foam strip here on the rail, so you know it's not going to be just metal on top of your bed rail. There's going to be this foam padding in between. So once I know that it goes on this side, I'll flip it around. We're going to slide it up towards the canister. Now you are going to have to feed a little bit of the cover into the track, so let's go up there and do that. I flipped the rail around to show you that we're going to slide it up towards our canister. You want to line up this hole with this hole in the bottom to attach it to the canister. Now you're not going to be able to see much, so you can just slide up here. We'll get the cover, slide into the track, slide the rail as forward as we can to line those holes up. This is our hardware. We have a bolt with a lock washer and a regular washer. We want it to go look like this when we put it up through this portion. And you can lay down and make sure and look that that hole's lined up. Already double checked. Just thread it in by hand. Come back with a ratchet and a socket and tighten it down. When it comes to assembling the clamps, there's a few tips I wanted to give you. There's going to be two different size tighteners. So you see the longer one, just barely longer. This one's going to go up towards the canister. So we're going to slide that up there so we don't get them confused. We got the shorter one that's going to go towards the tailgate. Now you have to assemble the clamps as well. So some things you're not going to be able to see because it's going to be underneath the rail here, but you're just going to make the connection like that, slide that in, and that's how you assemble the clamp in stage one. So I just want to give you a better idea what that looks like when you can see it out here in the open. So first thing you want to do is take this portion of the clamp and slide it into the track. So you're going to see the metal stop here. You're going to see the entry point here. That way you can get the clamp up there. Now you might have to do it at a little bit at an angle so it catches. So we'll push up. You hear it, and now it's flat up against our rail so we can slide it over. There we go. Slide it over. Still on the track, you see them pulling, it's not going to come back out. Now the second part of it, this portion is going to go up towards the rail. That's going to push up underneath here, and that just slides on. So you might have to manipulate that to get it out of the way before sliding it into place. Now we're going to thread this in. There's going to be the tightener that goes through the clamp. So we're going to put the cylinder nut behind the clamp. Thread this in with the washer in place. It's starting to get tight. Now it's on there good. We're going to repeat the same process towards the canister. Now we're going to install our kickstand and slide it through this clamp. This is why you want to use this style clamp on the tailgate, so you can slide this in. On the other side, we'll do a washer, a lock washer, and a wing nut to tighten it down. Now with this installed, you can put the kickstand up flush against the side rails and use this knob here at the end to tighten it down. And you can see it'll gradually push up on the side rails and make them level. So you can watch it until it's level just by looking at it, and you know you can stop tightening it down then. Looks good right about there. I do like the kickstand design. I can visually see the rail getting level, and it's far easier than some of the other clamps on other tonneau covers where you have to adjust 2 or 3 things to try and get it right. Now we're going to use this cloth to wipe down the inside track so that the cover slides in and out far easier. So I'm just going to open it up, take this out, and just run it along the seal. I'm going to do that on both sides. You can grab the strap to help pull it. It's got the hook and loop on there. Now you have a handle, and we'll pull it all the way out to make sure it slides evenly. That's pretty good. You come here, you push on these 2 tabs, that releases it, so it'll go back into place. You slide it all the way back. Just try this a couple times and make sure it goes all the way back in like it should and comes out pretty easily. You don't want it to jam halfway through or be difficult to pull to the end. Next up, we need to attach our drain tubes. Now I set them out to show you what we do to help out in this process. Some trucks have a cutout that you can pull out and you can drill through that so you don't have to drill through the bed. We have some small holes up front in the bed that we're going to try and enlarge a little bit. We like to put the barb fittings in our drain tubes like this. You can buy this separately on the site. That way you don't have to drill as big a hole as you would for the whole hose to fit in there. Now I take the drain tube, match it up with the cutout in the bottom of the canister. I'm just going to push up and twist it over, and it goes into place. Now we're going to take a step bit and draw our hole here to the side, just enough to fit in our barb fitting. That way it catches and stays in place. Now we'll come back and spray some clear coat on there. And now we're going to fit the drain tube down in that hole, put the barb fitting. Might take a little bit to push it down in there, but you want it to catch so it stays. Now we're going to set the cover of the canister into place. You're going to make sure the weather strip goes towards the back. And make sure it's sitting up on top of the bed rail. And the more felt part's going to go over here on the cover. So you want to line up with the holes to attach the top plastic portion on each side too. Now we're going to slide our end cap on. You want to put the cover in this groove here. You're going to line up these holes with the holes in the side. Looks good there. Then we're going to drop the screws through. Now it's lined up. Get them started by hand to hold it in place. And come back with our screwdriver and tighten them down. So when you pull the cover all the way out, they give you a hook and loop attachment. You can peel off the back and stick it inside the truck. That way the portion here would attach to that and stay on the side. What I'm going to do today is we're going to leave that because I feel like over time that might wear down. You also have the loop here. I would just run it through our point right here on the truck when you're done with it, if you want to keep it in place while you're driving around. Now we're going to shut the tailgate and the install's done. Overall, I like the Switchblade. I like how small and how little space that canister took up front, and I liked how easy and smooth it was to put the tonneau cover in the canister or pull it out to the tailgate. That means I'm going to use it a whole lot, put it away or bring it out. I'm not going to have to struggle with anything. And the slight adjustments you can make along the way are really easy to do. You don't need tools to do it, so I really like that as well. Well, I think that does it. Thanks for hanging out. Hope this helped.